So in this video I build a flying lid bot out of lids, balsa wood, copper tubing, cardboard, wire, plastic, and it ends up looking like this. So weeks ago Andy Mecha put out a lid bot challenge, link in the description, and today I will show you how I will build a model from this concept sketch. And in a future episode I will make it fly just like my first flying robot. So I traced out the wing shape onto balsa wood and cut it out. Then used my rotating tool to cut these scallop impressions. And then I sealed the surface with PVA glue, an idea I got from Night Shift, link in the description. Then cut each wing into 3 pieces. And glued them onto cardboard with the hinge reinforced with electrical tape so it won't fall off. See episode 15 for what happens if I don't do that. Here they are complete. I like the way they look. Now to attach the Clarins bottle lid boiler fuselage to the wings. So I sketched up a few different ways I could attach the fuselage to the wings. If you have not seen my channel before, I am in the process of making a steampunk short film using scale models I build myself and the use of green screen. Videos will feature drawing, model making and the filming process. If that sounds interesting to you, well please like this video and subscribe. I post fortnightly. And also, while you are there, I've been calling this a flying lid bot and need a better name. Please leave name suggestions for this and my first flying robot in the comments below. So the edge of the bottle is a little smooth for my taste, so I scuffed it up using my high-speed rotating tool. Here I am building the frame to house the boiler with balsa wood. Now balsa wood is light and easy to cut, but it does have a tendency to break and the texture is quite rough. So I will cover this with styrene sheet later on. I am using woodworking glue that seeps into both surfaces to create the bond. And then I leave it to dry. Then I went literally back to the drawing board to make the motor portion, which will include on the left a lipstick lid and on the right a lid from a hayfever nasal spray. So here I am cutting the round shape of a plastic hand wash bottle to form the fuselage. And I'm going to glue and pin it to this balsa wood frame I've made to lock it into shape, with 2 strips of balsa wood acting as borders, drying here with the aid of rubber bands. Now to attach the Clarins bottle hand pump to the pipe at the back, I will use Superglue, which I sprinkle with baking soda to act as an accelerant, which Andy Mecha does and a bunch of other modelers. I think all from Adam Savage of Mythbusters fame, who talks about this from his ILM days, link in the description. Just sliding on the lipstick lid with a hole drilled down the middle, which I plugged with instant plaster. And now I'm gluing on the nasal spray lid. And next I brought out my rotating tool to sand down or scratch up various parts of the model. I do enjoy this bit. Now I built the tail plan out of a very hard clear plastic from a chocolate box, then glued it to the fuselage with a lot of super glue and baking soda, which does form an incredibly hard bond. This is actually an exothermic reaction that creates a very, very hard substance that I needed to sand down with this metal head from my rotating tool. It's not ideal, hard to control. There is an aerosol accelerant Adam Savage talks about to work with super glue that will not build up this volume of material, and I plan to try that soon. Then for the cylinders that will be part of the engine, I used lengths of dowel. I took this design feature from the early days of jet engines, which have a steampunk aesthetic that I like a lot. Here I'm gluing these on using a gel glue suitable for porous surfaces. So I will keep the fuselage housing separate from the engine so it will be easy to paint. Then I went to work with the styrene. First strips on the fuselage, then the rear tail landing gear, now here I am showing how I bent and soldered copper tubing. That will be how I mount the model for green screen filming. And I will use Lego to secure the mount. More styrene to cover the boiler housing. So good to work with. Here just bending it in place as the glue dries. Then cut off the ends. And I also glued styrene over the cardboard on the underside of the wings. And more on the sides of the boiler housing, styrene everywhere now. So then, to create the impression of steam pipes to power this thing, I took electric wires from a broken coffee machine. I started gluing them onto the cut down ink cartridges from ballpoint pens and more styrene and different tubes. This part of the build was my most enjoyable. Here is the end of my production line gluing pen ink barrels and balsa wood cubes onto styrene that I used to make pipes and pistons under the wings in the style of this drawing that I drew. And then another staple used by Andy Mecha, I tried for the first time milliput, which is a two-part epoxy putty that is inert when separate, but after mixing becomes a clay-like texture that will harden inside, rock hard in 4 hours. I absolutely love this. Using it here to form the scallops at the back of the wings and the tail. I also made this little bomb out of milliput, grafted onto a magnet. I will make a little sketch of a bomb laying mechanism and began building it out of styrene. At this point, I put this flying machine that I hope, dear viewer, you might leave a good name for in the comments, into a shoebox and onto the shelf. Now I did add rivets and some details for these photographs, but I'm actually going to leave it in the box for a few weeks while I learn how to paint with an airbrush I bought on Amazon, so it will look super cool. But also real quick, I will show you how I can attach the copper tubing for filming on green screen. So here are some of the other videos I've made on this evolving steampunk miniature filmmaking project. Thanks for watching, bye bye.